Well, what's going on, guys? JP back at you once again, bringing you guys another DVD slash Blu-ray slash 4K update. Been a little while as usual, but I figured it was finally time to do an update. It's not overly huge or anything like that. In fact, I've gotten just very few DVDs this time. I barely bought any DVDs. This is actually probably the least amount of DVDs I've ever bought. Because this update is at least, I think I did one this year, but I think this is only my second update this year, and I got like no DVDs. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into it. We will start with the DVDs. So first up here we have a film called Zambo, and this was part of the Full Moon's Grindhouse collection here. I'm not sure how many of these they did. I know there's a handful of them. But I actually got this for free, so I did place a Full Moon order, and something that Full Moon seems to do sometimes, I've ordered from them a handful of times, and I would probably say over half of the times that I've ordered from them, they've actually thrown in a freebie with the stuff that I ordered. So they had a Blu-ray sale going on. I think it was like $7 or $7.50 per Blu-ray, and I ordered a handful of them, which you will see later in the update. And they threw in this for free, so you cannot complain with free DVDs or Blu-rays from Full Moon or whoever. So that was pretty cool there. After that, DVD-wise, I grabbed. Let's see here. Black Death. I've heard this one is pretty good. It's from Magnet Releasing. It was $5 at Dollar General, a little bit more pricey than I like to pay for DVDs, especially at Dollar General. I usually try to stay in the $3 or under range. But I think this is a film, following the Black Death in 1348 Europe. I'm a big fan of like plague or virus type movies. They always fascinate me. So this sounds to be, something kind of cool. I'm not really sure if it's a horror film. The reason I am familiar with this movie is because a guy named Scott Crawford, who's in the podcast circle, I think it was Scott, he had this as like his favorite film of the decade or something, last decade. And it intrigued me because I never really heard of it. And then, seriously, guys, told you the DVDs was small, but this is last up for the DVDs. We have here Demons, triple feature. This is an old Shriek Show box set, as the camera loses a little bit of focus there. Shriek Show was a company that I missed out on. They did a ton of stuff back in... I can't tell you when it was, but I would have to say that it was quite a while ago. Maybe 2000, like the mid 2000s. But Shriek Show did a ton of releases, and they did a lot of these little 3-pack box sets. I think that, people know the zombie one that had like the zombie sequels in it. That was probably one of the more popular ones. I missed out on these, man. I never picked up any of them. Fortunately, a lot of these films are on Blu-ray now or have other releases, but I specifically grabbed this one because we're doing our top 10 of 1991 in the future on the 22 shots, and I've been picking up some 91 films that I didn't have, and Black Demons is one of those films, Umberto Lenzi. So this has The Other Hell, which I believe I own on Blu-ray from like Mondo, or I think it's either Mondo or Severin. Somebody put that out. And then Demons 3: The Ogre, which I think is like a TV movie, which I don't think has anything to do with the Demons films. And then Black Demons, which I don't think also has anything to do with the Demons films, although I think at one point it was released as a Demons film. The Italian and UK releases and even the US releases mixed all those films up. Like I think even Cemetery Man is like Demon 6 or something like that in some territory. So it's always fun to learn about that. But yeah, this is a cool little box set, man. I've always liked the Shriek Show titles. Like I wish that would have been around in that era just because it seemed so fun. But, you know, we got, I guess, better stuff now. So, with that said, let's jump into the Blu-rays. This was a Dollar Tree pickup. Never seen this film, but it was $1, so I figured why the hell not, and that is RoboCop. It's hard for me to pass up Blu-rays for $1. Like, no matter what the title is, I'm almost, like, tempted to just buy it. I've seen the original RoboCop one time, but I've never seen this one or any of the sequels, so decided to grab it, but, you know, nothing too special there. Another film that I picked up at the Dollar Tree for $1. I don't know why I really grabbed this one. Honestly, I have no idea, but it's Jack the Giant Slayer. I don't know. It's like a Jack and the Beanstalk film. Judging by the back, it honestly doesn't really look very good, but it's so hard to not. When I go in there and there's only like 2 titles and they're $1, and I'm like, I'm gonna just grab both of them. This was like on clearance or something at Walmart, which I found weird. But it is Robin Hood from Disney, and if you've been following my channel for a little while, I did mention that I was starting a Disney collection for my niece for when she gets older, and you know, I'll check them out too. This is actually one I've never seen from Disney, but yeah, so still building that collection. It's getting, you know, it's getting there. I don't buy them crazy, but when I see them cheap or part of the Disney Movie Club, which I've actually done again, I should be seeing a package from that soon. I'll grab them, and it's fun to see the collection grow. When I was a kid, I had a huge Disney collection on VHS. It was like one of the only things I had for like that wasn't like taped off the TV or something. And I mean, I had a couple of titles that were like horror titles that were, you know, actual VHS releases, but the Disney section, the clamshells, was huge. I had a bunch of them, and my house got robbed when I was living in public housing, and all my tapes were stolen. But I remember how much I loved them as a kid, and I'm hoping that maybe, you know, she will too. I've already given her like some VHS, you know, because she's young and doesn't really know how to take care of anything yet, so they're all, you know, clamshells are all broken and stuff. But you know, she loves Disney so far, so far so good. Then I picked this up for myself, even though it's a kids movie, and that is The Never-Ending Story. It was $5 in the Walmart dump bin, and dude, I just love this movie. This is one that I grew up with, and I haven't seen it in a really long time. Of course, everybody knows the swamp scene. Oh, it's horrible. Such a sad moment in cinema, but I just wanted to revisit this so bad because it's been so long. So definitely glad to pick that up. I don't really buy a ton of non-horror guys, you know that, but I've been branching out a little bit. Next up, we have one that I've actually been super curious on ever since it came out. Not a huge fan of this series, but I've kind of gotten into it a little bit more lately, and that is Shin Godzilla. The Godzilla series. I've seen a handful of titles. When we're doing the top 10s of the year, like we just did 85, which Godzilla came out in 85? Godzilla 1985. That's when one came out. And then the year before that, I think we had like 1972, and there was a Godzilla that came out that year too, which I enjoyed. And man, I've come around on Godzilla. I used to not like it, but yeah, Shin Godzilla. This was like the last one out of Japan, and I heard it was pretty good. So I like that black case. You gotta dig the black case. So picked that up. I think it was only $5 on Amazon. Hurried up and hopped on it. I did place an order on Hamilton Books, and I got a couple of titles mixed in there. They had some code reds for sale, but I got The Dark here. This is a film that I want to say, I could be mistaking this with another film, but I think at one point Toby Hooper was attached to it, or like was directing it and then was like kicked off. It's either The Dark or The Being. I get them confused because I think actually Shriek Show might have did a box set with The Dark, The Being, and another film, but yeah, I don't know. Code Red. I don't really buy a whole lot of Code Reds, but I figured, you know, I think these were like $10 or under, so decent deal. Not sure how the film is. Doesn't really particularly look great, but then another cheapo at Walmart. We got The Call. I have seen this before. Got Halle Berry in it. It's a thriller. I think a girl gets kidnapped and she's in the trunk and she calls like 911, and the story plays out with Halle Berry trying to save this girl. It was pretty good, cool. Abigail Breslin's in it. I remember thinking it was pretty good. Pretty good thriller. So decided to revisit it. Then we have, this is probably one of the worst purchases I've ever done in my entire career of movie collecting, if you want to call that a career. And that is I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu, or as we like to call it, Deja Poo. Because this movie is absolute garbage. One of the worst films I've seen in a while. It's like 2.5 hours or something. It is so unfortunate because it was directed by Mir Zarchi, who directed of course, the 1978 classic I Spit on Your Grave, aka Day of the Woman. This is a sequel that does actually follow Camille Keaton's character, and it takes place, in present day, like 40 years after the original film. And it's just really unfortunate. It has a quote on the back here, which is, Mir Zarchi delivers the next explosive saga and the most controversial tale of an eye for an eye ever committed to celluloid. And that was from David Maggiore, author of the most comprehensive book ever written about I Spit on Your Grave. Dude, come on, bro, come on. I know you wrote a book on I Spit on Your Grave, so you really love it, but that is one of the most bull crap quotes ever. And this is a Blu-ray R, so it's not even something that I paid like $22 for this. It was horrible purchase. I did it because we were doing it on the 22 shots and I wanted to like support the release, but wow, that was such a bad buy, man. This one I also got as part of that, what do you call it? Hamilton book order that I put in. And it is Joe Begos's, I don't know if it's his first film or one of his earlier films, but it is Mind's Eye. And of course, Joe Begos just did the awesome Bliss from last year, which made my top 10. And then he did VFW, which has a strong chance to make my top 10 this year because it's pretty good. So if you haven't seen VFW, check it out. But Mind's Eye, it was, I think, like $5 or something. So this might be his second film. I think Almost Human, which I do own, was his first film. But he's 3 for 3 with the films that I've seen him do. So figured I would check out his other film that I had missed. And then after that, we have Bone Tomahawk with Kurt Russell. This was a nice $5 purchase at Walmart. A film that made my top 10 in, I think, 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. And it was like top 5, I think, for me. And I loved it back then, and I didn't own it, so I figured it was always like floating around, always around that like $10 range, and I just waited, and eventually it dropped to 5, and I was able to pick it up. It's a Western cannibal film. Very, very good, man. If you've never seen Bone Tomahawk, if you're a little iffy on Westerns, check it out. This one is sort of a gateway because it has that cannibal and horror element to it. Some of you guys might like it if you've never checked it out or checked out many Westerns. Don't be scared off because it's a Western, because it's really solid. Alright, after that, this is a film. Haven't checked it out yet, but I'm very happy to have it here, and it is I Dare You to Open Your Eyes. This is a little bit of YouTube royalty here, so if you guys know Tom, aka Horrors Ball, by the way, he just started a podcast, very good podcast. It is the first episode is on Cannibal Holocaust, and it was fantastic. I listened to it. Very informative, intellectual, sort of, almost essay style podcast on Cannibal Holocaust, and I really enjoyed it. So check out Tom's podcast if you haven't. check out his YouTube channel. I'll leave the link below. But it's not his film. It's actually his daughter. So Tom featured his daughter in his YouTube channel for years and years and years. I think she was like 11 years old when he featured her. And she has made a feature film. This is a 89-minute film. It seems to follow a kid in high school who's dealing with the loss of his mother, maintaining a good relationship with his depressed father, and is a victim of bullying. It sounds cool, but that cover is really cool. Anyway, I picked this up, Hopeless Pictures, and if I'm not sure if they're still selling copies, but if they are, reach out to Tom, support it, you know, support his young daughter who is, you know, getting her film career going. And you know, it's amazing that this kid was 11 and now has made this film that is in my hands. And she was just on YouTube with her dad, and it's just really awesome, and it really is inspiring no matter what you want to do when you think of that, and also inspiring for the horror community and independent film and, you know, young filmmakers. It's just it energized me when I got this package and opened it up, and this film was in there. So yeah, after that, let's go to Sometimes They Come Back. I actually just recently watched this Blu-ray here. This thing has eluded me forever. So it is Olive Films, and it was a film that I was watching for my run through 1991, which is me watching a bunch of 1991 movies for the podcast. It's one that I've always loved. Not sure if it'll make my top 10, but it definitely has a good chance because it's one that I grew up watching. I've always really liked the story. Basically follows a guy who had this tragedy involving his brother who was murdered when he was a kid, and the people that murdered him seem to have came back from the dead and are now taunting and harassing him. But he's not quite certain if they are the same people or just people that look like them. It's very strange, and he seems to be the only one that can kind of see the things that they do. Very good movie, super depressing. I've always found this film like very much of a downer. It's a downer watch, but this Olive title has eluded me forever because it's always been like $21, and it's bare bones Paramount release. I've owned the DVD, but I couldn't pull the trigger on this. I ended up getting it for $10, which is a really good price. I was scared it was going to go out of print because a lot of Olive titles have, but finally have it. Stephen King collection, also just, you know, it's one that I really like. After that, let's go with some Scream Factory titles here. Still waiting on some Scream Factory titles. I placed 2 orders back in April, and one of my titles still has not gotten here. It's insane. Apparently I did reach out to them finally, and they said that the warehouse ran out of them or something, so they're like waiting on more or something. The whole COVID thing has pretty much like killed shipping. But anyway, we have Psycho 4. Psycho 4 is one that I've always loved. I love Psycho 4. The prequel narrative, you know, Anthony Perkins, I mean, it's a little ridiculous that he's like on the phone talking about how he wants to kill again and stuff like that with the radio DJ, but I really just like it. I like the plot. Very TV movie-ish. I believe this was a TV movie. But Psycho 4 has always been one that I thought was a little bit underrated, and happy to have it here on Blu-ray from the year 1990. I've been wanting to do a Psycho revisit here one day, but it's been a while since I've watched them, and it's been a really long time since I've watched Psycho 4. After that, these were going out of print, so I picked them up. We have, I'll just do both of them at the same time. We got Poltergeist 2 and 3. I've seen Poltergeist 2. I've never seen Poltergeist 3. I remember thinking it was alright, but Poltergeist 3, have not seen. This is, you know, I've never been the biggest fan of the Poltergeist series. I guess I've only seen like 1, and then I just recently seen 2 a couple years ago. I have seen the remake, but I don't know. I just, the sequels never really just interested me to check out, I guess, but I don't know why, because the first film was like such a great movie. And I usually am a sucker for sequels, but these were going out of print. Unfortunately, no slipcovers on them, but I gave up with the whole slipcover thing with Scream Factory. They're just too annoying, so I don't even care anymore. I used to care because like I have the first like 100 films, and all of them have slipcovers that are supposed to have slipcovers. But once they started charging like $30 a piece for their releases, I kind of stopped collecting them. But I still pick up the occasional ones when I can. After that, this one I think was also going out of print, and that's Alienator. Don't know much about this one at all. 1989. Looks ridiculous. I mean, it doesn't even look appealing to me, but I'd give it a shot. That one was actually really cheap. It was under $10. And then we have Return of the Living Dead 2. Unfortunately, no slipcover. This one eluded me forever too, because when it got announced, I was really excited for it because I had the original Return of the Living Dead on the Scream Factory, and then Return of the Living Dead 3 through Vestron. And this one, Return of the Living Dead 2, I was like, yo, like, I'm so happy that this is coming out, because for the longest time people thought that it wasn't going to come out because I think that Michael Jackson thing might have had an issue with it or whatever, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I've always liked this film. It's a lot of fun. Unfortunately, no slipcover. And unfortunately, also, this thing was so pricey for like the longest time. It was $30, $28, like 27 might be like the lowest I've seen it. Finally got it for, I think, around 18 or so, maybe 19, something like that, which is still like more than I would like to pay for how old it is, but I just figured I would never see it cheaper, so I finally grabbed it. Don't you guys miss when Scream Factories used to be affordable? I started it right at the beginning when that line first came out. And I bought Halloween 2 and Halloween 3. And I remember as they were coming out, like the non-collector's editions, $12 to $15. The collector's edition, always like 17 to 20, maybe 21, 22. Now they're 28 to 30 like every release. Like even the non-collector's editions, like Graveyard Shift is like $27 on Amazon right now for pre-order, and I'm just like, that's insane. There are ways to get them cheaper, like if you look for like the sales, like the Target buy two get one, and it comes out to about like $20 a piece or something. It's really frustrating because I used to love the line. It was my favorite line, and it's just so expensive to keep up on them and get the stuff that I want. And yeah, I just miss how it used to be. And then of course Ben, and this was one that I picked up. This actually was out. I think it was either Ben or Willard, but it was at Walmart for like $12 or something. And I passed on it for some reason. I never grabbed it. But Hamilton Book, they actually were getting Scream Factories and pricing them like super priced, like, between 15 and like literally like $5. And apparently, from what I heard, Scream Factory basically told them that they could not price their stuff that low or else they wouldn't get any more stuff. That's very unfortunate. Super sad. It really is. But I did pick up Ben because they still have some titles there that they had from their initial stock that they still have priced low. I don't think they're going to get any more, though. It's really unfortunate. This was another one I grabbed from Hamilton Book. I think it was like $12 or something. But The Strangers, collector's edition with a slip. That's I mean, when do you see that, right? I mean, that is good stuff right there. So The Strangers, Scream Factory release, really like this film. I think that I was listening to a podcast today and they were actually talking about it, but the senseless of the violence, it was really reminding me of like the current shootings and stuff that we have going on nowadays, which is, it's just pointless, you know what I mean? And it's more tragic. And The Strangers is a very tragic movie, and it's really downbeat. But yeah, good movie. And then I got this, another one from Hamilton for very cheap, and that is Drag Me to Hell. Sam Raimi's Drag Me to Hell. I actually really loved this film when I first seen it. I've only seen it one time, and I loved it. I thought it was so good. I didn't really see the comedy because people say this is like a horror comedy. It just like scared me when I watch it. I watch it late at night, like by myself. and I was like, yo, that is scary. This witch lady's creepy. But I'm actually curious to see if it will hold up based on, you know, not seeing it in a while. Then I grabbed this one because it was going out of print too. It was a Scream Factory here. We have Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Just recently watched this film before I picked up the Blu-ray, and it actually came with a slip, which that's crazy for a title that's going out of print. But yeah, very, very good movie. This is the first reboot, I guess, or the second adaptation that I know of. I think I have the three. I have the one from the 90s as well. I think there was another one called Invasion. I think I own that too, but I'm not 100% sure. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, very good movie. Super cool. More Scream Factory here. I forgot I actually grabbed this, but I did get it during the Target 2 for, or buy 2 get 1 free sale. And that is Pet Sematary 2. I'm not really too crazy about this cover. But I do really like the film. It came out in 1992. I like I just like it. It's a lot different than the first one. The first one's one of my favorite horror films, but this sequel's just a lot of fun. Gus is a trip. Very, like, that abusive, like, stepfather thing. Super, you know, super, I guess, of the time. You know, that was very, you know, the stepfather and the, like, kid who lost his mother. A lot of shenanigans going on with the parental figures in this one. You know, you got Edward Furlong, who lost his mother, doesn't want no dang stepmom, and then, you know, you got the chubby kid and his dad's is it his dad? No, it's his stepfather too. Gus, he's a complete ass to him, and, you know, also tries to kill him at one point. But I guess he was dead, so it's Pet Sematary 2. Just a couple more Scream Factories here. We have My Bloody Valentine. Picked this up like shortly after Valentine's Day, so I think and I actually watched it in the theater too. They did a screening out here back in February, so I just seen it. Then I picked this Blu-ray up, so I'm gonna wait till next Valentine's Day to check it out. So gonna wait, but yeah, happy to have it. And it has I hear the uncut stuff is pretty good too, so the footage looks a lot better than that old I think Anchor Bay that I had. Is it Anchor Bay? I can't even remember. I have the original Blu-ray, which was out of print and very expensive. I should have sold it before that one came out. After that, we have April Fool's Day. I was very happy to see this one get a release. Paramount title. It was one that's kind of eluded fans for a long time in terms of getting a re-release, because even that old DVD is kind of a little out of print now, or was out of print, I think. But yeah, this one, a lot of people have problems with the ending, but I actually like it. I think it's super cool. You can only kind of do it once, but you know, it works for the one-time thing. If you tried it again, it would probably fail, but yeah. Oh, and this has, I think it has Amy Steele in it, right? Isn't Amy Steele in this movie? Not 100% sure. I don't think it says, but really like Amy Steele. I think she's in there. Oh, actually, I got a couple more Scream Factories. Totally didn't even realize it. Then we got Exterminator 2. Again, another Hamilton book order. I think I've seen this before, but I can't remember. Or the first one. I can't remember. I think that one's going out of print too. Then I finally grabbed this. This is another title that's been eluded me from Scream Factory. I wanted it because I'm a completist, not a huge fan of the film. I did rewatch it recently after I picked up this Blu-ray, but it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. Boy, guys, I mean, it is just not a good movie. Like, I want to like it sometimes because this one ran on, like, HBO or Showtime all the time when I was a kid, and it would always be the one that was on. I would see Texas Chainsaw Massacre, my eyes would light up, and I'd be like, and I'd put it on, and, like, I was always happy that it was on because I was just, like, a horror junkie at the time. But, like, I would always, like, still, like, because I always looked on the bright side either way, like, because I was annoyed, but at the same time I was, like, still kind of happy that I was watching it because it was, like, it was still Texas Chainsaw. But, boy, man, this movie, it's just so hard to like because it's so dumb. But cool thing is they did put together the uncut edition, which I made a video a long time ago called A Tale of Two Cuts, and it was me trying to find the uncut edition of Texas Chainsaw 4, which was released in Canada, and I eventually did find it. But that video actually did really popular for some reason. It was kind of weird. But yeah, finally an easy obtainable, except for that thing was expensive too, but I ended up getting it during one of those sales, so it was a little bit cheaper. But for a while, I was stuck at that $30, $28 price range. It's so annoying. After that, we have The Unborn, which is a 91 film. Got it for my run through 91. I did watch it. It was alright, man. I dug it. It was like, had a real bizarre ending, you know, like just very out there and crazy, cool effects and stuff at the end. So, about a woman who gets pregnant and by some doctor who she shouldn't have been able to get pregnant, but he easily makes her pregnant, and then there's some weird stuff going on with the doctor. So pretty cool though, man. I dug it. It was James Caan plays the doctor. All right, after that, got this one was at Big Lots. I was so excited to see this. I want to hit up some more Big Lots and see if the other monsters are there, but we got Creature from the Black Lagoon, the Blu-ray set here for $10. I was so excited when I saw that, because it, you know, these were, you know, $20 or so, and I own the DVD like monster collection, the 30 film set, and I was bummed because when they put that out, they said they weren't doing Blu-rays because it was like too expensive to transfer all of them. And then a couple years later, of course, it was like a year after I bought the set, but the set had been out for a while. You got the Blu-ray set that came out, and I was like real annoyed about it because I would have just held off and grabbed the Blu-ray set, because as you can see, I don't really buy a whole lot of DVDs anymore, but it was just like I wanted all those Universal Monster films because I didn't really own any of them. And then they come out on Blu-ray, and, you know, I didn't want to upgrade the whole entire set, but at this price, I would upgrade them. So I got the Creature from the Black Lagoon ones here, which isn't my favorite set of the, you know, classic monsters that they put out, the Legacy collections, because really, I mean, it has like one film that I like. I don't really like the two sequels for Creature, but the first film is great, fantastic. So that's that. I don't know if there's more. Oh, we got a loose disc here. I'm gonna have to fix that, but I'll show it real quick. We got Birdemic, Shock and Terror. At least it was Birdemic and not like any of the other titles. This is a Severin title. I did not know Severin released this, but I got it for $5. I hear this movie's absolutely awful, but I've always been kind of curious to see it. I heard the director, it's an Asian guy, I think, but I heard that like he's like really full of the project. Like I think he really thought he was making like a great movie. But yeah, gonna have to eventually see that. This loose disc is bothering me. I want to fix it now, but I guess I will wait. Let's fix it now. Gonna open it. Don't you hate when you get a disc and it's loose? It's scary. But luckily Blu-rays don't really scratch too easy. There we go, we fixed it. Alright, what do we got here next? More Severin. Again, more Hamilton book too. They get some titles at decent prices sometimes. We got Jack the Ripper here. This is one of the black case editions. Now, I don't know how they do that with their black case thing, because I think like most of the black cases are like the limited editions or something, or like directly from the site. I don't know how that works. Never seen it, don't really know anything about it, but hey, it's based on Jack the Ripper, I assume, so that's pretty cool. Oh, there is a UK version and a US version on this disc. After that, this one, kind of wanted this for a while. I have the DVD, but the transfer on it's pretty rough. And that is Bloody Birthday, 1981 slasher film, Killer Kids. Pretty fun little movie. I haven't seen it in years, but yeah, you know, this one was pretty cheap. So yeah, that's all the Severin that I got. Let's go into some Vinegar Syndrome. DoubleshotJ32 sent me this. Derek, Unmasked Part 25. I don't know, jeez, dude. My dog's like just trying to knock all over my stuff. Sit down. Lay down. Jeez. Yeah, this one, I don't know. I heard the premise where it's like this parody of like you know, a hockey mask slasher who like decides to retire or something. I don't know, but it seemed kind of funny, and it just like appealed to me. I wanted to pick it up. He actually sent it to me for my birthday. Like, thanks, dude. That was really awesome. I really appreciate it. Then we got Dolly Dearest, which I picked up for my run through 91. 1991 Dolly Dearest. This was just brand new released, and man, I really like this film. I heard people say, and even the people that were picking it up, that it's not really that good, but I actually thought it was pretty solid. I really liked it. I thought it was really cool little killer doll film. I thought the effects were pretty good. Crazy to see. What the hell is her name? She plays in Pet Cemetery, and she played in it like 2 years before this. So, is it Denise Crosby? I think it's Denise Crosby, but yeah, it was shocking to see her in this. But yeah, I don't know, man. I really like this film. Good transfer too by Vinegar Syndrome. And then this was really cheap here on. I'm actually surprised this isn't a Trauma title based on the title, but this was really cheap here on the Amazon. It's called Flesh Eating Mothers. It was like $12 or something, which you don't see Vinegar Syndromes go for that much. From 1988. Huge fan of the Vinegar Syndrome films and the line and stuff like that, but I don't pick them up as much as I would like to, just because they are a little bit pricey. But yeah, Flesh Eating Mothers, gotta dig that cover, man. Pretty cool. I'm sure the transfer is decent as well. And then I picked up a couple of these. I don't own very much of this line, but I would like to pick up more of them. It is the AGFA line, and I had to grab this one because this is long overdue release. Oh wow, yeah, this is funny. This film was shot on VHS and edited on tape, so it's funny that this is on Blu-ray. That's weird, but it's the McPherson tape, which has never had a release period. And this company, this AGFA, really good company, because I'm not certain, but I feel like they're only releasing stuff that's never been on disc. Which is cool, man. Oh wow, this only runs 63 minutes. I forgot how short this was. I have seen this before, but it's been a really long time. But yeah, this is that movie where it came out in 1989, predates the Blair Witch Project by 10 years or so. Did Blair Witch come out in 99 or 98? 99, I think. Yeah, so predates Blair Witch by 10 years. But it's sort of like a found footage type thing. Following an alien abduction thing going on at a family's birthday party, which is pretty cool, man. That's a pretty cool release there. I was very happy that they finally released that. Then I picked up Scary Movie, which was also part of the AGFA line. And yeah, this was a pretty fun little movie. It's set in like a haunted house thing. Run through 91. Picked it up for that. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I want to grab more of this line. Pretty cool line. A couple of synapses here. I grabbed, finally, it was a really long time, but I finally grabbed Basket Case 2 and 3. I'm not a huge fan of these films, honestly. I love the original Basket Case, but I just couldn't, these were a little too goofy for me. I feel like it took the series in a place that I didn't want it to go, but who knows. Usually with stuff like this, I'm more kind on the second watch because I know what I'm getting into. But Basket Case 3 came out in 91, so that's primarily why I grabbed it. But I was like, I can't grab Basket Case 3 without 2, so I picked them both up. $12 each, pretty good price. Synapse Blu-rays, pretty happy with that. Then we'll get into the Full Moon titles that I picked up. Oh, I forgot, actually, before that, I did get a Scream Factory box set here. We grabbed the Rec films, the Rec collection. Pretty cool box set. You got Rec, Rec 2, Rec 3, Genesis, and Rec 4 Apocalypse. The first two Rec films, very good. I liked them a lot. The second two Rec films, 3 and 4, they were not really that good. I liked 3 a lot. 4 I didn't really care for at all, but this box set's a really, really good box set. Because these films I don't think were on Blu-ray at all, so pretty cool to have them on Blu-ray. Alright, so let's get into the Full Moon order that I placed. First up here we got Subspecies. Good old Subspecies. You have Red Dew, and I think Angus Scrim is in here. Yeah, he's on the cover, but just, very, very short Angus Scrim scene. So we got Angus Scrim, and then we got Subspecies 2 Bloodstone, which is a pretty, it's a pretty decent sequel. I think I like, I think I like it. I might even like it more. I can't remember. It's been such a long time since I've seen these. Bloodlust Subspecies 3, was very happy to grab those. Unfortunately, there's no Subspecies 4. There's no Blu-ray release that I saw, so that's unfortunate. Hopefully that comes out. Doll Man, very fun little movie. I really enjoy that one. Pit and the Pendulum, grabbed this for the run through 91, as well as Doll Man, as well as Subspecies. Pit and the Pendulum, never seen it actually. It's a Stuart Gordon film that I haven't seen. Talk about Stuart Gordon, we got Castle Freak, great movie. I watched it on Joe Bob back in the beginning of this season when he showed it, and it was like much better than I remembered. Or was that last season? I think that was last season actually. And then, okay, big box set. Full Moon was doing this deal with their streaming service. If you bought their streaming service for a year, you got the Puppet Master box set for free. So I did it. I couldn't pass it up. It was such a good deal. It was $60 for the year. You get the streaming service and this free box set. Plus, they gave me this cool free Blade figure, which they didn't even advertise, and they gave it to me for free. Alright, my camera's starting to die, so I'm going to go through these really quick. We got Universal Soldier on 4K. I haven't seen that in a long time. It was like $15. Same thing, King Kong. I didn't realize how long this movie is. We got to watch it for the podcast coming up. 4K. Super long movie. Peter Jackson. Then I grabbed Maniac. Haven't watched it yet. 4K. Just picked up those 3-discers, so kind of pissed about that. But 4K, Blue Underground, getting into the game. Pretty dope. Zombie, I watched it. Transfer's amazing. Fallen in love with this film. Absolutely love it. Super cool. Zombie, oh my god, it's great. Too bad I picked up the 3-disc recently too. And then finally Jaws 4K. Look at that cover. Lenticular. Awesome. Super cool. Sorry guys, I gotta roll. Camera's dying. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.